All right. We are going to be working on session 3 of our literary essay. And what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be taking the theories that you guys have come up with for The Outsiders, and we are going to start talking about how to make those into a claim, because you must have a claim for your essay to get started on it. So we're going to be moving from theory to claim. So the teaching points, what are some of the things that I want you to know? Well, a literary essayist, that's you, they review their evidence and create a claim about a theme that can be supported by the evidence that they have collected. So in the last session, our job was to collect evidence. And because we're talking about a novel, there's going to be a lot of evidence that you're going to have to kind of sift through, and you should be rereading parts of that novel to find that evidence. They read and reread to identify connections in the text that confirm or disconfirm their theories. So let's say you had a theory and you had trouble finding evidence about it. Well, then it's probably not a good theory. It's not something that you're going to find enough information about. So that's where you would have to move on to another theory, which is the reason I had you guys try to come up with 2. All right. They alter their theories based on the evidence they identify and connect. Okay. So what is a claim? So you need to take your theory, something you think about, and make it into something that is a claim, because your essay has to have a claim, something that you have to prove. So a claim is a statement that expresses the theory that the writer will try to prove. So you have to come up with a statement based on your theory, and that's what today's lesson is all about. A theory is a question. A claim is a stand, one that will be argued in the rest of the essay. So you have to your claim is what you believe, and the information that you've collected as evidence is the evidence that will support what you believe. Because remember, we're talking about opinions here. We're not talking about facts. Facts can't be argued. It's either a fact or it's not a fact. And if it's an opinion, you have to find evidence to support it. So we're going to be using the example of the gift of the Magi, which we've been using for a lot of our activities. So one of the things you're going to have to do is reread the story, The Gift of the Magi. So I will put a copy of that. There should be a copy of that in here, okay, underneath the video. So you're going to reread the story. And we're going to work on collecting evidence and come up with a claim for the gift of the Magi based on your theory. Okay, so you guys all came up with theories about the gift of the Magi. If you didn't, then you got to go back and do that. Okay, and that's in one of our previous lessons. So we're going to review our evidence. We're going to create a claim about a theme that can be supported by the evidence that we have collected. All right. The teaching point, like I said, these are the teaching points that we're going to have up here. So we just talked about what a claim was. It's a statement that expresses a theory that you're going to try to prove. We're going to use, I'm going to use an example for the gift of the Magi. So I created an example to kind of walk you through the steps here of how I did this. So my theory, okay, so for example, I wrote Jim and Della demonstrate their love through selfless acts. So they both did something that was selfless, right? They gave up their most prized possession for the other person. And they demonstrated that they loved each other because they did that. And that's kind of the claim that I'm kind of sticking to for my example. So let's look at, I'm going to look at my example because this is what you're going to be doing. And I'm going to drag this over to the screen here. Uh-oh, where'd you go? Oh, there, down here, right here. Let me zoom in on this a little bit. Oops, that's a little too far. Let's go back a bit. There we go. So, collecting evidence for claims. Reread Gift of the Magi to find textual evidence to help prove a claim. So here is my claim. All right, this is my example. So there is no greater gift than love. That's my example. That's my claim. And I believe I've found enough evidence to kind of support that. So evidence is kind of divided up into different groups. We have direct quotes from the book or from the story. We have keywords that you find in the book or the story. Key events. So we want to summarize those key events that will support your claim. And then what the author's decisions were. The authors did certain things to help the reader think about certain things. So this is my example. All right. And you're going to be doing your own. All right. So my claim, there is no greater gift than love. I found some quotes from the story to kind of help prove that point. So it says, but in a last word to the wise of these days, let it be said that of all who give gifts, these two were the wisest. Of all who give and receive gifts such as they are wisest. So that's a quote talking about how wise they were to do that. The second quote I came up with, and this is a quote right from Jim that he says to Della. I don't think there's anything in the way of a haircut or a shave or a shampoo that could make me like my girl any less. So that quotation directly supports their love for each other. All right? There's no greater gift than love. And he says that right there. So there's some quotations that I came up with. And I could come up with more. Remember, it's a short story, and we're just using this as an example, as a practice before we move on to the outsiders. Some keywords I found. But nobody could ever count my love for you. I underlined love there. And here I have lamely related to you the uneventful chronicle of two foolish children in a flat who most unwisely sacrifice for each other the greatest treasures of their house. So those are some keywords. Treasures, sacrifice, those sorts of things. So the summary of the key event that kind of supports my claim. After they opened each other's presents, Jim suggested that they put their gifts away. They were too precious and they had sacrificed so much to please the other. Unfortunately, neither one of them could use the thoughtful gifts. By putting the gifts away, they can focus on the gesture, which means on the act of giving rather than the receiving. The thoughtfulness of the idea instead of harping on not being able to use the fob and the combs. So they were just going to focus on the fact that they just sacrificed something important for each other. Okay, and that is gift enough in the story. So some of the author's decisions that I added here as well. So the author emphasizes the two possessions that James and Della held with pride, his watch and her hair. In paragraph 9, it explains their pride for these things, shows the reader both irony and a bit of foreshadowing. So the fact that the author is saying these things are their most valuable possessions is kind of giving you a hint at what might happen in the story. Some of us were surprised when we got to the part of the story where she opened up the combs and he realized, we couldn't figure out why he was acting funny until she opened up the gift and realized, oh, these are for my hair, which I don't have. And I'm giving him a gift for a watch that he gave away or he sold. So there's a bit of foreshadowing there. The author capitalized the watch in paragraph 19. So he capitalized the T and the W in the watch, which suggests to the reader the importance of Jim's golden watch. Okay. So those are some of the author's decisions that show that they had something that was the most valuable to them that they were willing to give up without any problems whatsoever. So that is how you kind of collect your evidence for your claim. You've got to state your claim, and some of you guys are going to have some issues stating your claim. You've got to come up with a claim that you can support and prove for the outsiders. So your job is to come up with a claim for the gift of the Magi based on the one that you already did. So for example, let me see if I can find some examples of other people's claims. So I'm going to use a couple of examples of some students who've done this. So this is third quarter, first, second hour. Technology. Let's move on to English. All right, let me do this. Session 1. All right, so I'm just randomly going to choose a student here, and I don't know if I can kind of block out the name or whatever, but I don't think it really matters. And I'll see what I have here. Okay, well, that student didn't do it. That's not good. Oh, I'm going to use, yeah, let me see if I can use this one. Okay. Oh. So, hopefully Cheyenne doesn't mind if I use her example. Okay, let's look at her theory. All right, so we have the theory that I came up with. Dell and Jim both wanted to give the other the best present possible. So that theory led to my claim, okay, that there is no greater gift than love. So that's kind of what we want to do here. My theory is different than my claim. So let's look at Cheyenne's theory here. So Jim was shocked about Dell cutting off her hair because of his gift to her, not because he disliked her haircut. So Cheyenne's theory is that Jim was shocked because he got her something that she could no longer use. So she found some quotes that kind of go along with that. And in the bigger world meaning, it means that Jim was willing to make a big sacrifice for Dell's happiness, just as Dell did for Jim, even though both of their sacrifices end up sabotaging the other's gift. So she's kind of thinking along the same lines as I am, as far as there's no greater gift than love. So her theme would have to kind of be based on her theory, her claim. Okay, so that's what you guys are going to do. You're going to take your claim and you're going to take your theory and come up with a claim or a theme that you're going to explore in this. And we're doing this slowly, guys. We haven't even started writing the essay yet. Okay, we're going to be exploring, gathering all of our themes, gathering all of our claims, gathering all of the evidence to support our claims. Once we have everything, then we start building our essay. You think of your essay as something you're going to build, and everything that we're doing right now is just gathering all the materials that we're going to need. If I were to just say, okay, write me an essay about the Outsiders, some of you guys would just stare at a blank screen for days, not knowing what to do. So what we're doing is we're gathering all of our materials so that we can build this essay. All right. So what I've put up here is the page that you just saw me have. You're going to write your claim for the gift of the Magi. This is practice for the Outsiders. So you're going to go back to your theory, and this is Cheyenne's theory that I'm just using as an example. She's going to use her theory to come up with a claim that she can write up here. Now, her claim has to be something that she can use information from the text to support. So she's going to have to come up with some quotations, some keywords to support her claim. She's going to have to summarize that key event. And then what are some things the author did that could help her support her claim? So that's one thing you guys have to do. And then we're going to take it a step further, and we're going to start doing that for the Outsiders. So it's the same page, only this one is for the Outsiders. So this is the claim that you're going to be using on your major essay. All right, so this is something that you need enough evidence. This page right here is going to be the basis of your evidence that you're going to use in your story. And remember, these boxes, they can expand. So, I mean, if this goes on to like another page or 2 other pages or 5 other pages, I don't care. But this page is, you're going to keep coming back to this page to, find your evidence and use things so that you can put your claim and your evidence together in your essay. Okay? So, this is what you need to spend some time thinking about and doing. And again, guys, the key is to reread. You know what? You have to reread. That's the only way that this is going to work in order for you to get some of this done. So reread The Gift of the Magi, reread parts of The Outsiders that are going to help you support your claim. All right? You guys that are in class on Monday, Tuesday, we'll deal with this and probably talk about it. I will be looking at everybody's claims and evidence. Some of you guys, I'm going to have you share your documents with me so that we can work on them together. And on my Thursday, Friday kids, you're doing the same thing. So everybody's kind of doing the same thing. If you're a remote student and you need help, remember Wednesdays I'm available for the entire day. If it's not Wednesday and you still need help, you can all send me an email and I can see what I can do as far as what your problem is and what we can do to find a solution for you. So, all right, good luck. You will. Haven't decided. We may have an article of the week this week, or we may not. So we'll see. Probably will, but we'll see. All right, good luck.